Welcome to Discover Indie Film. I'm Jeff Howard, and I'm very excited because you already saw in the title of this podcast, Frederick Taylor is here. Hey, sir.
How you doing, my man?
I'm good. This is number 4 for us, I think.
This is officially 3 in the studio and 1 remote using technology.
Yeah, that first one was during COVID.
It was.
By Zoom.
It was, yes.
Yeah. And
So
you were some guy in Atlanta, and I was some guy in LA, and you were like, yeah, I guess I'm willing to talk to this person about my film.
Exactly. And look at us now.
Pre-Existing Freedom was
Yes.
in Sherman Oaks Film Festival, correct?
Correct. Yes, it was.
Where it won awards and things.
Yes, it did.
Very happy about that. I'm happy.
We are thrilled.
And we discovered we really like talking, so
Yeah.
this will be the 3rd one, probably with the title, Frederick and Jeff Shoot the Shit.
There you go.
I think I called them that, right?
You did. We need a T-shirt.
Oh my God, I'm kind of a T-shirt whore.
Are you really?
I love making
that.
custom shirts. I love
Wow.
making. I had a niece ask me to make a shirt that said brace face, and I wouldn't just settle for the words. I actually made my own smiley face graphic with braces. I placed all the braces myself on the thing's teeth and printed it. And about 17 people I never met ordered it off some website.
Boom. There you go.
I've sold 17 original shirts.
This
original
may
graphic
possibly
tees.
be your true calling.
Yeah, like 15, 20 years ago, everyone thought they'd get rich by being a T-shirt maker.
Yeah, that was a thing.
It was a dumb thing.
It was a dumb thing. Yeah.
But I'll embrace the stupid sometimes. We'll have to take a photo of ourselves that we're proud of. No, I'll get an illustrator to draw us.
Even better. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, because photos don't work.
No, they don't work. And they don't live throughout time the way a illustrator.
And I'll wear an Atlanta hat, and you wear a Dodgers hat.
And I'll wear a Dodgers hat. There you go. Fool them all.
You know, I'm pro Atlanta. I don't have any dislikes. I dislike most of the Texas teams and the Boston teams because the people from there are just too into their sports.
And too into themselves.
Yes.
Too. Therefore, too into their sports. Exactly. Yeah, they don't live their lives to the fullest.
Nor do I, because I just revealed how petty I am and that my only sports enthusiasm is in hating. You know, I don't root for anyone, but I root against teams and cities that have too much school spirit for me.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're just operating at the opposite end of the spectrum. You know, there is rabid love, and then there is profound hate.
Rabid love meets profound hate.
Right.
Exactly. When I see rabid love, I'm like, well, that's rabid. You have a virus making your brain turn you into a flesh-eating zombie. Right. So you've lost it. So I got to counteract you.
Mm-hmm. And you have a checklist of things that support your platform of hate.
Yeah,
you have specific reasons.
It's evidence-based research I've done. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, you meet someone from Boston, and if they're like a rabid sports fan, then you're like, okay, I love that you have something you care about, but you realize like you're just rooting for the shirts, right? That's that old Seinfeld joke. They're rooting for the shirt because the players change all the time now.
All the time.
It's got what has it got to do with your city? So anyway, you're here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
For AFM, the American Film Market.
Correct. The beginning of 2024, basically, in the world of distribution, independent filmmaking, and the big dogs that are kind of sniffing around, seeing what's hot, what's not, what's next as well.
And you're putting Tomorrow Pictures on the map.
Correct. And not only the American map, but the global map as well. The game has changed. It's not your grandfather's AFM. Now it's really all about not only can you sell in Peoria, Illinois, can you sell in London, Tokyo, Berlin, Paris, and all of those fun places too. And also now, Nigeria and Senegal and Southeast Asia and South America, South Africa. You got to really be able to sell because we live in a wireless world now, so anybody can watch anything at any time.
I mean, it's so different now. Yeah, they used to literally sell a film market by market or a TV show market by market, and it was grindingly slow. And TVHi is on in every country in the world except North Korea and Iran. And if those people know how to use it, if they know how to use a VPN, but if someone is there and they own a computer and they have broadband, they're obviously upper class, and they probably have a VPN anyway to pretend that they're in the States anyway. So there's people in those markets too.
There's high school kids in Tehran that are watching TVHi.
That's beautiful.
There you go.
To me, yeah.
Absolutely. 3 cheers for youth culture.
And Iran, doesn't Iran, you would know, right? Iran has the average age is under 30 or something.
It's insane. And you could say not only Iran, but all of Africa. And that's what people are failing to realize, the surge of young people that are emerging globally. It's coming from Africa. And it's about time. And this is how these things run. They run in cycles and they're very cyclical. And now we are living in the world of the rise of the colonized. And people get really weird about it. But what were you thinking, a few hundred years ago when you're just taking all the natural resources and running off with everything and leaving everybody for dead? What's going to happen later on down the line? And now it's happening. And I think that's one of the things that fuels a lot of this global nationalism is as well, the fear of new minds and new ways of thinking.
Yeah, it's that knee-jerk reaction to oh, wait, I thought you'd always... I thought there was they have a superiority complex. That's completely false.
Exactly. And at times they're completely unaware of it and they still have it, and that's called paternalism.
Big time, big time. I do appreciate you talking about the colonized, because I always point out to people, as I'm an amateur, whatever, I'm a history dilettante. But I love history, and I've read history books for fun because that's the kind of exciting person I am. But I don't think you can actually win a war either. I think, given time, the people who lived there will eventually run the show again. You can come from outside. You can, Russia can invade anyone they want. 20 to 50 years later, it's going to go back in the hands of the people who live there. You just can't occupy. You can't do it.
You can't do it. It's always lose-lose.
The borders always go back
completely
to the ethnicities and the languages spoken.
Right. Yeah, and you can't filibuster it with laws to try to bend the course of history. But we still try. We still do those things, and we create a lot of trouble for ourselves. And, when you do examine history and you look back at every single war, every single one was unnecessary. It's, and I know people say, well, World War II, that was a justified war, things like that. And I still say no, because if they had, put their foot down with our favorite German leader of all time in the beginning, the minute that he farted across the border into Poland, we would have avoided a lot.
Czechoslovakia, right? First he's like, just give me a little German-speaking part of there.
And that's where it starts. And that's how these games are played. We're still playing these scenarios out all over the world right now in real time, and these are very pressing times as it comes to the lives of human beings, once again, on both sides. War is, HE double hockey stick for all that are involved.
And not thankfully, but because of the invention of the smartphone and the camera, because there's cameras everywhere,
right?
The incredible harm done to civilians in any act of war, no matter how precise, air quotes precise, it's just there's no such thing as
No.
as no collateral damage. The
Completely.
collateral damage is unbelievable. Even if a Putin and anyone else, like even if they're targeting hospitals now and then, the truth is, even if they did things the way we think they should be done, and you only attack military targets, the population suffers so badly.
Completely. For generations to come, emotionally, psychologically, it's trauma. We're traumatizing people.
And if people are convinced that the people of that nation all support their leader who chose war,
right?
Ask yourself if everything your leaders do in your nation, whether it's the U.S. or Canada or Europe, like they're doing stuff we don't agree with all the time.
Absolutely. And all of these leaders of war, they either win, if there's really winning in war, but, when they lose, they run away and seek asylum, or they go into a bunker and blow their heads off. So it's just the weirdest way of playing the game.
It is. It's futile. It's futile. It's
sure.
People used to say it was the failure of politics, but it's a failure. Yeah, there's never been whatever. Look at the United States. We went in and took out Saddam.
Right. And look what happened.
And
now what?
I can't even do the math. What is it? 21 years later? Like we kicked him out in 2002?
3.
03. We finally.
It took us 2 years. I mean, from 01 was
years.
obviously.
See, my proud American memories. Like, 9/11, 2001, and then within 6 months he was out. But no, year and a half.
Yeah. And they broadcasted. It was a TV show. Him on a carrier out.
It was a TV show.
It was a TV show.
But that nation is pretty much right back where it would have been.
Yeah.
Different dictator, different governing body, but
and some of these same abuses to their people as well, and we fail to realize that, and we fail to focus on those things. Our sacred women and children and decent men, are the ones that are suffering.
They all suffer. And we all. I'm revealing my passions. Was when we first went in there, I almost thought we might do it right and just like take him out and hand it to, just say, look, but instead I was about to weep for what happened to the Tigris Euphrates River Valley and all the history there and all the museums that were looted and like what was lost there was even more than all the lives and all the disruption. We lost human history.
Right.
Sucks.
For oil.
Like when those, I think it was the motherfucking Turks kept munitions on the Acropolis of Athens. They're like, oh, they won't bomb this. And then it got hit by like a stray bomb and boom, like thousands of years had to be like put back together because they thought it would be a clever place to hide munitions.
Yep. We are systematically or systemically erasing ourselves.
Well, yeah, but we're temporary anyway. We're like a blip.
If in the time-space continuum, you are absolutely right. But in the here and now, for all of us with hopes and dreams, that
all of us who like breathing and living
and accomplishing things and caring and sharing, it's a rough go of it.
It's true. Saying that our lifespans and the span of humanity is short in universe time doesn't do anything for those of us who live life 1 second at a time.
Well, exactly, because it's all relative, to drag Albert into this, but it's where you are at is what you know. And as Dr. King once said, long life does have its advantages. I see that point. From a guy who passed away at the age of 39 because he was just trying to do the right thing. That's the one that I've never been able to wrap my mind around. I remember being a little kid and learning how to read and discovering that through reading that he was dead. Yeah. Because I had heard about him before I could read. And then once I read about him and I discovered that he was dead, I'm like walking around with adults. Did you see this? Oh my God, he's dead? You mean there's no parade? I can't go see him? I can't call him up on the phone? Nothing? He's dead? Why? For what? What did he do?
And no one came close to filling his shoes.
No one has. Because people are afraid to. People live in fear of filling his shoes. because they don't want the same result. And that's why you shoot people, is to send a message. It's not they're getting rid of that person. They're getting rid of other people that might follow in their footsteps. You know, the thought of Lincoln having a second term in office during Reconstruction, impossible. The thought of John F. Kennedy having a second term as the country is obviously revolutionizing.
The thought of Andrew Jackson not following Lincoln? If Lincoln had a second term, because then Andrew Jackson came after him and fucked everything up.
Well, he's the Trail of Tears guy.
Yeah.
Too. So
and the turned Reconstruction on its head.
He stole all the money from the South for Reconstruction and he put it in the railroad. $92 million.
And he completely effed over everyone who had been made promises.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And then he was
in fact, I believe there was a lot of black representation in Southern governments.
There was, and they got rid of it all.
And then he just said, "Okay, fine, you can bring back slavery."
Right. Exactly. And then this Klan thing you got going on, it's okay. I'll look the other way.
Go ahead, pass a law that says you can walk up to a guy and say, "You were chewing gum wrong. You're in jail." And then once they're in jail, you can now use them as labor.
Yeah, or you were chewing gum wrong. We're gonna take you out back, or we're gonna hang you. You know, that didn't become federal legislation and be a federal crime until the early 1960s. That's nuts.
It is crazy.
It's crazy.
And it was a crime for our ancestors to have married each other at that time as well.
Absolutely. Which, again, you're just a head scratcher.
And you would have thought a Jew and you know what, anyway. So...
Yes.
I mean, they hated us all. So
yeah, they really did. And we were all bundled together.
In a nice, with a bow on top that said, inferior.
Inferior, yeah. You know, all you people that started religion, get out of here.
Oh, you give us too much credit. I'll give that to the Hindus. Not kidding.
Okay.
I don't know who to go to for...
That's
anyhow.
Yeah.
So, hey, I'm going to mention... sorry, I interrupted myself, but I'm going to mention If Cities Could Dance.
Yes.
Because a cool thing is, we're going to get to do our first ever theatrical Q&A in November, right? Like we did a Zoom Q&A, and we've done podcasts. But I believe you'll be there in person at the Sherman Oaks Film Festival in...
I am.
November and or December?
It's December.
Yeah, I bet you are scheduled on December.
I think I'm December.
Yeah, because that Friday, the festival starts on the 29th, which is a Wednesday. Thursday's the 30th, and then Friday. But yeah, we're going to watch your film in a block of kick-ass films.
Yeah. Well, and you're a big fan of the dance as well.
I love dance.
You do. I have not met someone in a long time that loves dance the way that you do.
You know, if you had free time, and my understanding is you don't, I would pull you in to be a guest curator on that dance film festival that I'm a guest curator for every year. And
no, when is it?
They just held it 2 weeks ago.
So it'll be next year.
Yeah, it'll be
I could
another
probably
year
do
from
that.
now.
I love dance.
Honestly, she just assigns me like 8-10 films to review,
sure.
and my favorite wins an award. Oh, that's unbelievable. I mean, the worst thing is, like, they're all great.
That's the thing, and that's why I love dance so much, because it's so incredibly competitive, you know, and it's one of those art forms that is, I don't know how to say it, everything is wonderful, everything is great, everybody's a winner. Just the mere fact that you can dance or attempt to dance makes you a winner. Because you have the courage to get out there and be vulnerable. And that's what I think makes dancing so incredibly special. And it can't be contaminated the way singing has become contaminated with technology and pomp and circumstance
and
what
fame,
they look like,
right?
and fame and all this other stuff. Dance is dance. Can you dance or not? Yes or no? Get off the stage.
And there's not too many dancers no one goes into it thinking, I'll be a household name. Like there's Baryshnikov, maybe Gregory Hines, two household names.
Exactly.
But that was date and time, right? That was the era.
That was the era. But yeah, that is not the case anymore. And the window is small, like being a tennis player. You can only be a great tennis player for a certain amount of time, and then you get old in a hurry.
Oh, dance is worse for your body.
It's terrible.
Yeah, actually, ballet might be child abuse, but that's a whole
other thing. But that's like gymnastics.
But it's worthy child abuse. If you're going to abuse a kid, at least hopefully it's something they love. Hopefully the kid is driving it, but sometimes the kid isn't, right. And that's when it's abuse.
But dance is beautiful. Dance is, you feel so alive when you watch dance, whether you're doing it or you're observing it.
And you totally nailed it, because I always think of the grace and beauty of it, but you're right, the vulnerability too.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Like it's unbelievable, because everybody's looking at you, And
we had last week, or a week and a half ago, because this film festival is based in England, it's the Exeter Dance International Film Festival, EDIF, like it's your Edith, like a British accent, like lower class British saying Aunt Edith, Edith. But anyway, we had a Zoom mixer so I could talk to some of the dancers and filmmakers, and not just me, but other jury members too. And it was like, oh my God, I just think you're so amazing. It's just great to be able to tell them that what they do is so moving and powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's an honor to be there. And it can be any dance anywhere in the world. I don't care what, and it's like, it doesn't matter to me what culture it is, European, Asian, African, indigenous, South American, whatever. Dance is all beautiful. There's
Indian and India dance is religious.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. People do dances to represent the creation of Earth. Mm-hmm. And death and everything. Everything is dance.
Everything is dance. In Africa, it's a celebration of life as well. It's phenomenal. I've seen, people in villages or people like, north of 70 years old that can still dance. That's awesome.
It is. It's great for the mind and body.
Oh, it is. It's everything. Absolutely. And that's why so many people that are older, they get into those dance classes and things like that, and it revitalizes them and things like that. It's really good for the soul, and it's very humbling as well, and it's very connective to communities, and it does away with these racial and cultural boundaries as well. And that's the thing that I love about it the most too. When you see people of different backgrounds, I went and I saw this woman who has a dance troupe in Nashville, Tennessee. She's an African American woman, and she does West African dances. But the people that are in the classes that do a lot of the performances are not all African American. And to watch people of other cultures dance like West Africans, you go to a whole nother level. Because movement is a part of it as well. And there are certain types of moves that are very African. And then when you see someone who is not African doing it, it takes your breath away. It sweeps your heart into a whole nother place. And you say, oh my God, we are all really connected. And that's amazing. And even for me as a filmmaker, I've gotten into a space, I'm flirting with the idea of using dance as a form of expression in some of my thoughts, feelings, and ideas about culture and society as well, because, I think inherently many people are stupid. And I'm trying to find other vehicles to convey my thoughts, feelings, and ideas, because at times they will tune you out. If you sit there on camera and you start talking about particular social and cultural issues and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to figure out other tricks of the trade, which you already know, you've seen, and you've awarded me for it. But I'm continuing down that path. What are other ways I can keep people's attention in order to be able to present them with some new ideas and concepts as well? And dance is definitively one of them, I'm sure there's a dance troupe somewhere in the midst of all of these conflicts all over the world that could really teach us a few things as well.
Teach? I mean, we always talk about how you are secretly an educator. Deep down, deep in your heart, there's an educator inside you. You're a creative person and a business person. You're many facets. But when you're talking about utilizing dance to help educate, you are looking for other ways to get a message through in a way people will accept. You're literally that nursery school teacher trying to get these rowdy kids to pay attention.
Oh my God. I have so much respect for educators. I don't know how they do it. Their level of patience is incredible. My grandmother was an educator in Chicago on the South Side for, north of 4 decades. And that's an incredible give back that not many people are capable of. But I get it. And I think we are in the life lesson era of the visual artist. I think there is no other path but that. Like, I ask that of all of the visual artists that I come in contact with and the ones that I'm influencing and teaching and mentoring as well. Is what is the message here? What are you trying to say? Are you doing something to lift up humanity? If this is just an exercise in distraction or your own personal fetishes, move along. That's not what we're about. That's not what this era is. I think that we are all right now as artists obligated to help solve some of these problems that are out there. No one has time for all of the other, distracting types of stuff. I mean, the Kardashian era is over. And you can feel a lot of these things starting to crash land. I mean, people just don't, it doesn't have the weight or the gravity that it once did. I realize right now we care a lot about, Taylor Swift and her new football boyfriend, and they spend a lot of time throwing that at you with breaking news, but it's not going to last. I mean, not the relationship could last. That's fine. But our fixation with the relationship, it's not relevant to anything. Now if they were feeding the hungry and doing this at the same time, they would get more of my attention. But they're not. They're going to football games on Sunday and sitting in a skybox that none of us can afford.
This guy, she's hanging with the owner.
She's hanging with the owner, exactly. And good for her. I'm really happy for her. That's really great. But, they need to go do something for somebody else. That's my position. There is too much wealth at the top end that's doing nothing, and we all know they're not paying enough taxes. So
that's for sure. My understanding is, I guess, and I certainly am not too hip to it, but I think she does do some quality messaging, right, with her tour, and particularly for young women.
I'm not totally dragging.
Yeah, she's not totally vapid, but the relationship thing it's kind of embarrassing.
It should be embarrassing, because it's
like one rumor of who she's dating, and all of a sudden people are buying his NFL jersey, and it's
insane.
Like
it's absolutely crazy, and it's absolutely insane. And the media fixates on it, and they don't focus on some of the other things that she does. And I think sometimes it would be important for her to push some of those other things in front of people to get that message out there. She can't wait around for the media to do it, because they're probably never going to do it because they think they can't sell ad time with it.
Yeah. And in fact, has she gone? I don't know. She certainly, if she went on whatever news channel or entertainment, it's funny. I'm so old that I think of Entertainment Tonight.
That was dusty and old.
That very dusty. Really but she could go on her Instagram or whatever. She can go on the TikTok and say, why do you care who I date? You should care about this.
Yes, absolutely.
And, she might do that at her shows. I don't know. Probably not. It's all choreographed.
Hopefully she does something.
I mean, it's funny because I did not go see the Barbie movie.
You still haven't seen it?
They did not.
How are you
me.
surviving in this society and you haven't seen it?
Well, thankfully, no one talks to me, so I'm fine.
That's a good point. That's an excellent
No one expects me to have seen the Barbie movie.
So you get to slip through the cracks. I can't. I've seen it, and my life was miserable until I did. People confronted me. Why haven't you seen?
So you had to see it. It was like pulling a thorn out of your foot.
I couldn't move forward with my life until I saw it. People made that really clear to me. I needed to go see this movie, and I had to go see it, and I had to go see it at a movie theater.
And was there a value?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without question. It's a tear in the universe. It's a window of opportunity. It's the greatest money-making film of all time for a writer-director that is female. That means something as well. And it had a message in it. And it used the capsule of commercialized Hollywood and, corporate marketing to do it. Barbie is one of the most significant, iconic brands of the latter half of the 20th century. There's no question about that. It's a rite of passage brand. So it was a really good way to, once again, get a message across. So she's shown, Greta Gerwig, that we can get to people. We just have to put it in the right package. And that's exactly what she did. The trick is, can we rinse and repeat this? Can we do this with something else? Can we resurrect G.I. Joe and do it again and talk about war? I don't know. Maybe. But, there are other interesting rite of passage brands that are out there that could be carriers or couriers of messages that are positive for all. So that does interest me. And that's where I sort of land with that film. And so I wish it continued success. And I feel elated for the success of Greta Gerwig, but now I'm concerned for her moving forward, because how does she replicate that? Because all of those suits, all of those cocaine snorting execs are going to say, "Do it again, Greta. We need another hit."
No matter what, she'll be told her follow-up failed. No matter what.
Yeah,
because it can't make the same amount of money.
She has to stand strong, and she's got to be able to continue to move on and move past it. And I hope that is the case. And the hardest thing to be in Hollywood is successful. I do know that. I have been in this, and you know that too. You've been in this business long enough. That is where the bleep show is when you're successful.
Although at least the assholes in the suits you're referring to.
Yes.
Next time a creative says to them, we can slip a message in here and not affect the commercial aspects.
Yeah.
They'll be able to point at Barbie and go, see? You don't have to be afraid of a message.
Exactly. And
because the movie did just fine in the red states where women don't have rights. Like the states that, jumped on the Roe v. Wade reversal, they still went to see Barbie.
Absolutely. Right.
So at least messaging didn't get, because can you imagine if that film had failed because of the message in those markets? Then they'd be like, we can never do it again.
Exactly. That would be the case as well. And you identified something that is very important. There are women in certain states in America who have less rights than in other places in America. And those places where their rights have been reduced, people defend that. They think that is proper. That is the way we should move forward as a nation.
The states' rights thing that used to be code for racism. Now it's code for
it was code for like these Jews can't settle in Missouri. It was code for this escaped slave that came into Ohio. We're taking him back to Mississippi. That's states' rights. That is insane. And beneath us as a nation as well. And, those are the kinds of things you want to push back against. And that's what the Barbie film does. And eventually someone will wrestle you to the ground and pry your eyelids open and force you to see it.
Well, I'm aware. I believe it came from the Time Warner conglomerate. So that means it'll end up on Max, formerly HBO Max. So I plan to watch it there.
Quietly by yourself.
I will. No, I'll watch it with the kid and the kid saw it.
You should watch it with someone. You should not watch it.
By the way, not to bum you out, but the girl who turned 16 yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday was her 16th birthday.
Remember that? No, you don't.
Like my 16th?
You don't remember.
I had to go to school that day. I got up early, went to the DMV, got my driver's license, and then drove to school. Very exciting day. Although, I have a memory from that day.
Really?
Corey Gordon, if you're out there, a cheerleader came up and kissed me on the cheek and wished me happy birthday. And I was so dumb I didn't even ask her out after that. I just assumed she was being nice.
Can we travel back in time to that moment and then call you dumb and then immediately leave?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
If I had a time machine, that would be
awesome.
number one. Calling 16-year-old Jeff dumb.
These two weird old guys come up to your 16-year-old self and tell him that he's an idiot.
Just want you to know that, it might be possible that people could like you. Don't think you have to.
Exactly.
Whatever. Just that's my own personal foible. That hey, I'm okay with it. I needed to grow up.
There you go. And that's the point.
Mature.
And that's the point of the story, that we all must go on our journeys, and we must be allowed to go on our journeys. And we have all of these a-holes in our society that are changing and bending all the rules. So we can't go on our own personal journeys. That's why we can't stop people from being gay. We can't stop people from being transgendered. We can't stop people from being who the hell they really are. Versus we insist that they code switch and act like them. That's crazy.
It really is. It's funny. Obviously, I try to live in a bubble, so I don't know anyone who wants to be able to tell other people, no, you must live my way.
I live in Georgia, dude.
You live in Georgia, so you deal with it.
All day, every day. That is how it goes down. It's crazy.
Although I will say that my super liberal uncle was over here for a barbecue with his grandkids and his super liberal wife, who's lovely. I love my aunt and uncle, but they're probably late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
And he looked at my painted toenails and went, "What are you, a girl?" And I said, "I don't have to be gender normative." And his wife went, "Yeah, what are you talking about? This is what we see on the news all the time. And you're like, here you are taking the other side." And he was like, "Oh, I thought I was just making fun of my nephew for having painted toenails." But yeah, it's
Slippery slope.
slippery slope, right?
Absolutely.
The guy who's never voted Republican in his life is making fun of my toenails.
Exactly. You got to tell him, watch it,
And
buddy.
and being like, that's not, you're not being gender normative. And I'm like, I don't need to be.
Exactly. We're on the same team. We're wearing the same jersey.
I'm like, I'd be wearing a skirt if I owned one, but I can't find one my size. It looks pretty.
That's true. You are big.
I just think skirts make more sense for men.
Well, they're called kilts.
I know. But those are just itchy. I want a nice
I don't
material.
like those. I don't hate the material in a kilt.
I want something made out of t-shirt material. 100% cotton. I don't know. Anyway. But that's me.
That's going to wrinkle. You realize that. What are you going to do? You're going to steam clean it?
By the way, is Atlanta that Atlanta's a blue island, right? Surrounded by red but you deal with a lot
Here's
of
the deal with Atlanta and Georgia. It's a blue state because there are more black people in Georgia than any other place in the country, but they turned it into South Africa and keep black people from voting. So it's not really a red state. It's a blue state. And that's the problem. And that's the issue. My grandmother lived in Georgia her whole life, was afraid to vote for fear of being killed or beaten or dragged or jailed or whatever the hell they would do, tar and feather you, They create a discourse in Georgia of fear for people of color to vote. And that is changing.
And they created a narrative. I remember hearing that narrative growing up, even here in California, growing up and hearing, the Mexicans, they don't want to vote.
And that's what they say in Georgia.
They always say blacks have low turnout.
Exactly.
They're unenthusiastic about politics. No, it was fear tactics.
It's fear tactics.
And poll taxes and everything.
Completely.
We saw how democracy worked when one community has one polling station for 10,000 people and another has, one for every 100 people. It's not an even playing field.
Yeah. Warnock and Walker was so close. And you're the one that made the joke the last time I was here that Walker should now run against Ossoff. You made that joke. I've spent months sharing that with people as much as I can. I don't use you by name because I don't want people to hunt you down.
Understood.
Right.
Because they wouldn't know. If you know the person, then it's okay for the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that. But I have more friends in California and Los Angeles than I do in Atlanta and Georgia. And that's sad. And I realize that when I come back out here and I go down my list of, I need to contact this person, I need to call Jeff. And that list is long. And then when I go back to Atlanta, who am I going to go have dinner with? The list is kind of short. Wow. That's crazy. I got more friends in California than I do in Georgia, and I live in Georgia and have a business in Georgia. And a business that leans into the community, helping people.
Into the community, yeah.
Right.
With staff and everything.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe maybe it's because you're working so hard when you're there that the free time isn't there to build up the social contacts. And when you're out here, you're like in a great mood. You're like, yeah, I'm going to have fun.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'll accept that as an answer.
We get fun Frederick out here.
You do. You actually do get fun Frederick.
I've been to a restaurant with you, and I can guarantee you are fun.
That is true. There you go. There you go. I am up for some nonsense and shenanigans.
With some fun friends.
Exactly. I will bring some really weird people with me as well.
What's a trippy
and I'm sitting there going, I hope Jeff is not judging me for these weird people.
I would certainly not.
I know. That was, our relationship went to a whole nother level in that moment. I was like, wow, this guy's a good guy.
There were a lot of dimensions to that evening.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness. We don't have to go into it.
No.
Did we talk after that or before? I think we might have recorded afterwards. I think we might have recorded the next day.
We did.
we were still both recovering from what your lovely friends' well-intentioned but poorly guided
ability to communicate.
Ability to, exercise her needs to be heard. I don't know. She's lovely.
She tried.
Well-intentioned is often a backwards compliment.
It is.
Because it's not a compliment at all. It means your intentions were there. Mm-hmm. Your execution sucked. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I mean, some people are very tethered and bottled up in their emotions and their feelings, and they just don't know how to get out of their own way. And that's just who they are, And I find those kinds of people to be victims of distraction. They are so caught up in so many other things that they don't know thyself. And I think that's the case with this particular person, who I like, who I enjoy. I love having them around, and I accept them for them. But they'll be in that same spot a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Self-awareness is the best. Man, it's so nice to be around self-awareness.
It's phenomenal. It's incredible. Dare I say it? Awake. Conscious.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I'm not going to let myself use the names of famous people whose self-awareness is so low and so obviously low. Mm-hmm. But actually, it's funny because you brought up the Kardashians, and I kind of get the vibe that they got just enough self-awareness to know that they've got to rebrand a little and start to.
But the accounting department might have walked in and said, "Listen, you've got to do this." That might be their mode of awareness. They might be the most aware people in that ecosystem.
If we want to keep selling makeup to little kids,
exactly,
we've also got to take a stand on something.
Absolutely. Without question. So, but apparently Kim's performance in this season's episode of American Horror Story is quite good.
They make everyone look good on that show.
I think so too. It's unbelievable. They could make hand puppets look good on that show. Everybody walks into that show and everybody looks like they're a genius. I don't know how it happens, but it's a brilliant platform of entertainment. It just works.
Yeah, I haven't watched it since the hotel one with Lady Gaga, but man, she was outstanding on that too.
They're all outstanding, and I'm happy for them. That's great. It makes me interested to see who's next. And that show will probably hang around forever.
Yeah, because horror, you can't. You don't go broke with horror.
American horror.
It's pretty damn good branding.
You can't lose,
the title sold it alone.
Totally.
Like they had this whole pitch set up, like we're going to use the same cast every season, but make everything different. It'll be like a repertory, blah blah blah. And the person was like, "No, I could sell American Horror Story. I could just sell that name.
That's it.
That name sells."
Yep. Yeah, you couldn't sell a show American Nice People. That's not going to work.
No, American Motherfucker. You could. You just have to put like an asterisk for the O and the E.
Boom, we're done. We're there. We could sell that. We could get up from these mics right now, get in the car, drive over to the Paramount lot, pitch it, and we might get a deal. That's how pathetic this industry is. That's insane.
All right.
American Motherfuckers? Dude.
American Motherfuckers.
That even rolls off the tongue.
It really does.
I can see the branding now.
And it's time. It's time. There are no TV networks left, so we can curse all we want on these streaming platforms.
Do whatever you want.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
People do it.
They have a nice message, too.
If we had a celebrity attached to it, done. Done and done.
Well, not that, but if I had celebrities in my contact list, if I said, hey, you interested in being on American Motherfuckers? Who's going to say no?
That's an awesome pitch, dude.
It really is.
Awesome. American Motherfucker.
And we don't even have it. We just have a title.
We just have a title. That's all we got is a title.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
All you need is a title.
Yeah. These days, nobody reads a script. American Motherfuckers. We need to trademark that. Write that down.
I'll text it from me to you, and we'll be like, all right. Well, it could just be the next another series from Tomorrow Pictures.tv.
There you go. I would premiere American Motherfuckers on your TVHi.
On TVHi?
Yeah.
On WatchTVHi.com. No, but yeah, for real.
That actually is really...
It is fun.
That is fun. That is actually pretty.
Maybe we will. That would be crazy if, like, a year from now, like, it was actually sort of watchable, and you could be like, yeah, we could talk about So let's talk about the first 2 seasons of American Motherfuckers. It could be a docu-series.
Mm-hmm. It could be.
It could be something completely different. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Or it could be a docudrama, and you can have both elements in it.
Drama.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good.
All right. So what else are you working on these days?
Wow.
You have, I know it's, do you have a top 3? Are there 3 things that you've got in your back pocket at AFM when someone goes, so what's going on with your production company? You'd be like, well,
I'll say this much. The thing that I am most, excited about right now is a couple of scripts that I'm developing. Another script that I've actually finished that is now circulating in festivals that I'm excited about. And, my films that continue to have gravity. I've been really impressed with the work I've done over the past several years because it continues to circulate in festivals, which is kind of cool. So it keeps me in the marketing phase a lot, which sometimes takes away from development. But I'm working on another documentary called Hope and Story, which focuses on a lot of the issues and things that are going on now. So much has evolved over the past several years, even since pre-existing freedom as well. And I'm trying to, as a documentary filmmaker, keep up as well. And then we have another project that is about Alfred Hitchcock as well. I really believe that Alfred Hitchcock is probably the most influential filmmaker in Hollywood history, and he's foundational for anyone that is successful these days in Hollywood. And I would really like to be able to develop an interesting limited series about that. And how he also has influenced a lot of filmmakers in a lot of communities of color and marginalized communities as well, is sort of a, once again, a foundation for them developing their own cinematic universes and things like that as well. So I really love that particular piece. And honestly, the big thing, the home run ball, dude, I gotta go make a scripted film. I want to do something that's down and dirty, that's indie, that has teeth in it, that is relevant to our times, that's got a slamming soundtrack as well, and possibly a dance sequence in it. But I want to do that. Like that's where I want to go.
You want to get into something more narrative, something more.
Exactly. Because the documentary stuff, I love it and it's great and I'll continue to do it. But I'm also getting to the point now where I'm being hired to do it. I'm doing another documentary right now about the migration of the Burmese people from Myanmar to Atlanta. And we're being financed to do it through an organization. And that's great. And I'm getting more and more opportunities to tell stories about marginalized people through other organizations that are assisting and helping. And the other thing that I've been really excited about, I've started doing a lot more speaking. And so I've started a nonprofit, and it's called the Jones Foundation. and it's Jones #foundation.org. And it is built on principle of the values of my grandmother and my grandmother's son, Gerald, who was my mother's brother. Gerald was LGBTQ. My grandmother, as I had mentioned earlier in this podcast, was a teacher on the south side of Chicago for a very long time. I did something recently that just blew me away. I was invited to speak at a major tech company for a half an hour and talk about cultural unity and the challenges of being one's self. And apparently I moved everyone. And as payment, they said, hey, we would love to contribute to your favorite charity. And I said, well, I have this foundation that I've started and contribute there. So one day, my business partner and my most favorite person in the world, Ellen, I went to her and I said, hey, check the account. I think that they put some money in it or donated to it. And she came into my office. Her eyes looked like golf balls. And she said, there's $5,000 in it. I was like, oh, I said, I talked for half an hour. She's like, yeah, they see the value in what you have to say. And I'm starting to see that with a lot of people that ask me to speak. And so these things that we talk about that are second nature to us are applicable in society at large. And so that's kind of my new documentary work. And so it's freeing me up to go be even more radical with my documentary filmmaking, the stuff that I do, like the pre-existing freedom stuff, which it has more gravity now than it did when I first started it, which is incredible. And it's allowing me to say, okay, take that sensibility into scripted and see where I end up and where I land. So I'm in this very interesting experimental space that's really exciting. The only problem with all of this, all of the motivation falls back on me. Like I have to get out of bed every day and make this happen.
And you have to be aware that you have about 14 to 16 waking hours during which you must eat. And every day it must be a challenge what to prioritize.
Completely. It's overwhelming. And I'm really trying to figure out a way to make all of these things work. There is a script that I want to write, and I have it all lined up and outlined, and I just need to focus on it. But it's called Stand Your Ground, and it's all about gun rights, gun control, stuff like that. And it's about a white man who's a conservative who shoots and kills a black kid because he knocks on his front door, and the kid knocks on the wrong door, and he shoots him. So it's based on a real life event, but like really,
selling candy and
exactly. So it focuses on the rippling effect of that, how it affects this kid's community, and how it affected this other guy, and how these paths meet up later as a way of reconciliation as well. Can we reconcile between these cultural groups? Can the people that hate your culture reconcile with you? Can you reconcile with them? And for my culture, the same. I'm fascinated with that now. Can we get to the table and talk this thing out? It feels like we can't, but I think that's what makes filmmaking so amazing, is that fantasy is a big part of storytelling. So I've been fantasizing about people being able to come to some sort of understanding and agreement about their issues that people have with each other, and at times, ironically, themselves. And so that's where this film really goes. This guy, because I think anybody that shoots anybody that knocks on the wrong door, that person who shot that person has a problem. There's something going on with that person in their life. And so I've started to explore the conservative white mind, the conservative white Christian so-called heteronormative mind, the oppressor. I have become fixated with it. The guy that ran the plantation.
Yeah, the oppressor who's convinced themselves they are now oppressed.
Exactly. And I want to know, I want to figure this out. Like I want to, untangle this knot, or figure out what is the equation to this. What is this about?
I almost want you to make that film.
Right.
And I want a documentary as well, backing it up with interviews with people who've done that. Because deep down, I think taking another life, I'd like to think that they're human beings enough that after the fact they're just nightmares and living with regret and can't believe what they were driven to do by whatever messaging got into their brain that made them think that they were under threat because a kid knocked on their door to sell candy for his school.
Unbelievable. Just beyond anything that I could possibly imagine as well. And I want to be able to jump inside somebody's head the same way people say things about Jewish people. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And I want to get inside their heads and I want to figure this out. And so writing a script and making a film, you can do that. And we as, people of the Fertile Crescent, we don't spend enough time really investigating and looking at a lot of these colonialists and why they do what they do and why they think the way that we do. We keep obsessing about our plight, our saga, our journey. We must remember this and this and this and this and this, and we should. And I think that's important. But we also need to spend a little bit more time really examining them and trying to figure them out as well, because they're not doing it on their own. They keep sidestepping themselves over and over and over again, generation after generation after generation. So it's incumbent upon us to help them get through this.
It's true, because if those of us who are awake just see them as lost, evil, clueless,
right,
well, then we're actually being as prejudiced as they are in a way.
So.
Which that's the two-sidism that gets lots of people angry at times.
Sure.
But it is true that, there is that famous gentleman, I believe he was a musician, a black musician, the guy who collects the Klan robes because he would play This American Life did the thing on him. Mm-hmm. And I still can't believe there's not a film based on his life. I hope someone from Hollywood heard that and wants to make a film based on his life.
They're afraid of the truth. They don't like the truth stuff, which the truth stuff is super powerful and super interesting, and it will put asses in seats in theaters. There's no question about it. But they just don't want to do it the same way they're afraid of signing a band that plays meaningful music. I don't understand where this industry is right now. And I've reached a stage in my life where I don't care and I'm not afraid of them anymore. And I stand up to them. I just was on a project currently that's an independent film that I have the pleasure of helping to produce. And I had to do something that was unthinkable, throw a celebrity under the bus.
That would have not been in your playbook before.
No, never. The celebrity was attached to it, but the celebrity was kind of, the typical thing. They're kind of dragging their feet and they're just leading you around by the nose and they don't really care. They're never going to do it. And then finally I just said, listen, this person's got to go. We don't need them, and I felt good about it. And this is a known big time celebrity person. And,
someone who could have made a huge difference had they signed on.
Difference as well. And I'm African American, and this other celebrity is African American, and it's African American on African American crime as well. So I got 2 felonies going at the same time, and again, I don't care.
No, those don't get prosecuted, by the way.
Exactly.
That kind of crime doesn't.
It doesn't get prosecuted. You can squeak by on that. Who cares? Exactly. I'm interested in doing some things that are meaningful, and this script is really great. It's about something from culture and the challenges we have in society as it pertains to race and things like that as well. And I want this thing to get done. And I'm like, we don't need this person. Okay, if we had this person, we could get $5 million to make this film. But you know something? Bleep them. Let's do it for one. And we'll get it done and it'll still be great. We don't need them. The script, the story is the star. Let's just go for it. It's silly to be afraid of these things, thinking that we always have to be in the system to get it done. I watched a documentary recently about Jack Warner, who was Jewish. And he was amazing. You know what I mean? What he did, where he came, the story, of where he started based on where he finished, phenomenal, and saw something that he thought was important, saw technology coming down the path and the ability to tell a story. And he went out and he did it, and he made some tough decisions. I mean, he produced The Jazz Singer with Al Jolson. That was a tough one, he did it. And that was hard to watch because it was the exploitation of African Americans decades before they were even allowed to participate in the film industry. But they were using their likeness to sell tickets. This is a very complex business that we are in. And you're either going to get in there and play the game, or you're going to say, I'm not playing the game and I'm going to do it my way. And I'm just ready to be a loose cannon, and I'm far more comfortable that way because it's people like you and your festival that saw something in pre-existing freedom. They are out there. You just got to get out there. And that's the thing. And that's the motivating thing. I got to continue to motivate myself to push and go and push when I want to just go to the Beverly Hills Hotel and sit by the pool with my feet up and pretend that I'm Elizabeth Taylor. But
that does sound good.
It does sound lovely, doesn't it? It sounds amazing.
Someone bringing shrimp, bring a plate of shrimp.
I enjoy spending somebody else's money a lot, but until that happens, I need to stay focused, nose to the grindstone, as they say.
I'm no genius for saying it, but as you said, people think you have to play the game. The game is kind of broken anyway.
Completely broken.
The $5 million budget with the name person. Name people don't sell things anymore they used to. It used to matter.
Not anymore. Who sells? Who can sell right now? That you would roll out of bed, you attach them to your film, and it's going to sell tickets.
Honestly, even the great Thomas Cruise, if he's not in the right thing, if it's got whatever name. If it's Top Gun, everyone goes to see it. The Mission Impossible thing didn't do nearly as well, right?
And I was shocked. Yeah. I was surprised.
Because it's not about him.
Right. And then Barbie beat them all.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Because people wanted something different.
Absolutely.
And Top Gun was something different because he hadn't done that since I was in high school. So that's 40 freaking years ago. Yeah. Almost 40. I'm not that old. 37 years ago.
Yes.
37 years. But people were hungry for a Top Gun sequel. No one needed Mission Impossible 17.
No.
I guess it probably made its money back, but it wasn't the sensation.
No, but it didn't, it wasn't a money maker.
No, Barbie was a sensation.
Barbie made its money back and then some, and will continue to make money forever. It is a rite of passage film. Not since Ferris Bueller's Day Off is there a film that every kid sees. Clueless would be possibly another one, Mean Girls. There's certain films. Hey, you can't be a kid in America until you see this.
Yeah, it becomes a touchstone.
That is in that pantheon now. Yeah,
I have a friend who works at Mattel. I won't say what department. Well, legal department, but a lawyer who works at Mattel who said, "Oh my God, they just didn't see it coming. They didn't see the success coming, so they didn't merchandise enough for it."
They're idiots.
They needed.
That's my
apparently
point.
She has anxiety issues. Wonderful person, and said that there's an anxiety Barbie in the film, and she's like, "I would have bought that Barbie, but they weren't ready. They should have." Anxiety Barbie should have been on the shelves. There should have been representation for young girls with anxiety to say there is. I'm represented now.
Yeah, I just don't understand this business. I don't get it anymore. And these salty, farty guys at the top that I no longer fear and don't care what they're doing, and they're inappropriately dating people that are my age and younger. I see you. I don't care what they think anymore. I don't care. I don't want their advice. I don't want their mentorship. I don't want their tainted wisdom. They are bricks. They will sink you if you listen to them. You have got to trust your gut and your own instincts. If you trust your instincts, you'll never be wrong. And no is the most powerful word in the universe. You got to tell these people no, or they will ruin you and ruin your career. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They are just literally flying blind. They haven't been this blind since before the days of the rise of black music being produced by Jews in this business. When everybody dismissed that, oh, that's just race music. That's not going to be anything. You can't sell that stuff. That's where they are. That is where they are. And they're pathetic. and I have just no interest in them whatsoever. And I'm like, what are they going to do to me? I'm a sustainable filmmaker on my own. I make money, making films and videos for clients, and then I make money and I do really good in making my films on my own. So blow me. I don't care. This idea of constantly trying to be in the system and making everybody else happy, and hey, Disney's going to sign me to a 10-year deal and all this other crap. It's crap.
It's crap, but it is officially over. It's officially that era is officially over. There are no 5-picture deals.
No, exactly.
Whatever. Adam Sandler got a big deal, but
look what he makes.
It doesn't happen to anybody.
Exactly.
And no one up and coming.
No.
That's yeah. No. It's that area, and to create a system where you can independently keep moving forward no matter what.
Exactly.
That's the key.
Exactly. And you have so many other foreign markets now. There's so many other platforms that are out there now, and more people are coming online every day. And like we said, there is a lot of people under 30 in Africa. They all love media.
I heard the coolest thing on a podcast. I think it was on Sam Harris's podcast. And sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. But the person he had on pointed out that the cell phone is the most democratic thing of all time now, because the smartphone is the first time in history that the underclass and the upper class have the same tech.
Yep.
The upper class always had technology that the lower class couldn't touch.
Yep.
And in Los Angeles, if we jumped on the metro bus,
they all got it.
People who don't own cars have the same smartphone I've got.
People that don't...
Not that I'm upper class, but whatever.
Exactly. People that don't have a computer are still watching TV shows.
And they have access to something that can project itself in every country on earth.
I got cousins on the south side of Chicago who are just hood as hell, who have phones and don't have phone subscriptions to things, and they just wait until they can get Wi-Fi, and then then they'll call you. Yeah, when I can get to Wi-Fi, I'll call. And they live in that space, and they're surviving fine because there's always Wi-Fi somewhere. You can jack it and be able to get on the phone.
And they have the same phone as Bill Gates.
Yep, exactly.
Same phone as a billionaire. Billionaires didn't have any. I mean, sometimes they do the diamond encrusted smartphone, or I guess your iPhone case has diamonds on it.
Well, that's lovely.
I mean, it's well worth it, I think, as long as they're lab grown diamonds.
As long as they're lab grown diamonds.
But I thought that was such an interesting point that this is one of the more egalitarian tech moments we're living in, because it's accessible, even though they're stupid expensive.
Mm-hmm. Good. But back to Jack Warner.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was the one that said, hey, this projection thing is something that he took it to the masses. He just started doing these little film parties in Western Pennsylvania, and then said, hey, we're going west. And he did it more and more and more and made it grow and grow and grow, because it was tech that came down to the level of the regular person. And that is the portal that you run through, is when it gets to the people.
Right. He knew he could take a building with 200 seats in it, charge 2 cents a seat or whatever it was at the time.
Exactly.
And that people would go.
People would go. Just like with black music. Guess what, people? The white kids are dancing to it. That's it. End of story. And then Jewish people were the first to market to say, hey, we're going to write songs in that space for these guys. Hey, I've got a music studio. We can bring them in here and we can record them. We're going to make a killing because these white kids love this music.
Yeah. It doesn't have to have the face of Elvis on it.
It doesn't have to. It's just got to have a beat and you can dance to it. And guess what? We can do that. And the rest is history. And why these execs now don't remember history is beyond me. They're supposed to be intellectuals. They've gone to college. They're supposed to be well-read, well-traveled, or whatever. But they're too busy hanging out with their inappropriately younger second, third, fourth wife who comes from another country. It's that's their deal. That's what they're focused on. And they are wasting away on the top end. 60-something, 70-something guy. And they're clowns. They're clowns. I don't meet anybody in this town that is north of 50 that is worth my time. They're bozos. They're crazy. And they will pollute your mind with trash.
Hey, you're embodying the Ralph Nader thing, although at least you upped it to 50, but don't trust anyone over 50. Except me.
I trust you, but you're an exception to the rule as well. You are an anomaly in comparison to a lot of these other people that fart around out here. But it came honest with you. You were grinding it out in Sundance 25 years ago, and here you are now. Those execs were blowing people behind doors and giving hand jobs, at New Line Cinema 25 years ago. That's their deal, and see where they are now. Now they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Oh my God. There was, I could name a time when I was sitting in a late night cafe. I might have been after a film festival hanging out and with a couple of Hollywood people who were certainly more connected than I was.
Right.
And one of them actually threw out that maybe I should make that guy blow me to sign him.
Exactly.
And the darkness of it, I was like, are you joking? Or is it just, you're just here to dominate others?
That's all it is.
It was, small people feeling the need to dominate.
That's all they do.
But we kind of, we're never going to be done with it, but at least sunlight's the best disinfectant. And we shine sunlight on a lot of the abuse in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, Me Too was valuable.
It all was. It's just
now
been moving
the Joss. I think it's fair to say that a guy like Joss Whedon coming up today, if you had that personality, your career is not going to go.
It's not going to fly. Zack Snyder, it's not going to fly. Absolutely, and that's great. And trans kids do matter, and that's important.
Yeah, it's not a. Well, boy, I can't even wrap my head around the fact that, well, you don't mind me saying it, the Republican Party just realized, there's only 0.002% of this country's trans, so if we make them the new demon, they won't have the numbers to defend themselves. We can just keep banging that drum and pretending that they're coming to ruin your life. Mm-hmm.
But we've done it with other cultural groups, yours, mine, several others as well. Some of them we intern them, some of them we kick back across the Rio Grande. This is their old playbook again. It's old. Come up with something else. Be a little bit more inventive. I like my racists as evocative and nouveau riche. I want something fresh and new, or get off the stage. This old dusty-ass racist thing is boring. And it's not challenging, and it's not going to beat anybody. Who cares? I don't even worry about it. People run around and they're like, oh my God, Trump's going to come back. He's going to win again. He's going to win again. No, he's not. He's either going to die of a heart attack, go to jail, or get dragged in an election. That's what's going to happen. He's not doing anything. And I'm tired of people.
The dude has never won an election.
He's never won anything in his life. He hasn't, except he was born into a family that had money. That's what he did. That's the only thing he did. He did win
landing in the right uterus.
Correct.
Otherwise,
good for him.
Otherwise, he's Well, and I'm with you. I'm not too worried about him.
No,
I'm not too worried about it.
No, and the level of rumor and innuendo about him is absolutely ridiculous. From him, his lifestyle, to his children, to his wife, who his wife is hanging out with, who his wife is doing whatever she's doing as well. I hear so much crap about him.
Oh, that's so funny. I live in this little. I've shut it out. I don't even know who Melania is boning.
I do.
Nice. You can tell me when we're not recording if you want.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you, I don't feel bad for the kids, but I watch the kids and I'm like, you're still kissing that ass and you're going to be sorry. It's just that flavor's not going to come off.
No, and it's only because they think he has money. And in the end, when this is all said and done, come on.
There actually isn't any.
If he had real money, he wouldn't be acting like
money.
this. If he had real money, he wouldn't be acting like this.
It's actually why he has to live in a house where everyone else is paying the mortgage.
He's a loser.
He is a loser.
He's a loser. He's a loser. He gets up every day. He's a loser. And people around him are telling him that he's the best thing in the world, and he's not.
Yeah. 15% of the
Yeah, and those people are just happy because he keeps gas prices down. That's their
and they represent 1/3 of that party But in the end, yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
No, thank goodness things sort of, we'll see.
It's running its course.
We've all got our fears.
It's paralleled with the COVID virus. It's just, you could put them both on a graph. It's insane.
It is insane that our first ever pandemic happened with our least intelligent, least competent leader of all time, who also had the habit of firing anyone who had competence.
And locusts showed up in Egypt too. Okay, so there's that. If we're going to talk about this,
You can go back to that Bible and say, this
is
has all happened before. I know, I forget how old I was, but there was a certain point where, because I grew up going to, a Reformed Jewish temple, and there was that spears into plowshares and swords into whatever, and I was like, and I was aware of the anti-war stuff by then, probably by middle school or whatever, and I was like, wow, people have been trying to get rid of this war thing for a couple thousand years. As long as it's been we're finally, I don't know. I remember that. I remember that very clearly. Damn, this Bible is actually, I get it. It is an allegory that works today.
It is. If you choose to accept your...
And if you read it without trying to put your bias on it, although maybe I put mine on, I don't know.
Without bias or prejudice or whatever, if you can do it with an open mind. But, people have a very difficult time opening their minds because they're always worried about what's in their wallets. People think a lot about money, and that is a means to an end for a lot of people.
And I understand, especially people of not of means. I understand that being a difficult priority, but yeah, it shouldn't affect your opinions of others and groups and life and all that, yeah, but whatever. Now, obviously, neither of us can address why the fuck are coal miners rooting for this dude who...
They don't even know, really.
Who honestly, I mean, I don't know. I do lean on because he picks up the dog whistle and blows it, and they're like, oh, he hates the people we hate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting. Yeah,
that's his feature.
But then they don't investigate why do they hate those people. They don't even know.
Well, they still think the Jews have horns.
Absolutely.
And most don't. That's a bad joke.
Right. But they enjoy a good running back at the same time. I mean, they're so paradoxical.
Yeah, we've covered that before, right?
Yeah, there's so many things
I can't figure out. I know people, ex-relatives, who are they list all their favorite rappers, and then they're also racist. And I'm like, how can you, couldn't you at least be whatever? You should just like Eminem and ICP, right? That's why do you respect these people and then also think that they shouldn't have the right to vote? That just doesn't work for me.
It's absolutely
the contradiction.
Crazy. Yeah.
I know here I thought, I grew up worshiping Hendrix, and I was like, how could you be a Hendrix fan and not respect black people?
They go hand in hand.
Pretty fucking easy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for some people, they can just tell themselves anything.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, because they are judging. I don't know.
It's not going to work out for them.
No, long term.
Long term, yeah.
We're both optimists long term,
sure,
and maybe pessimists of the moment.
Yes, we are. We're both really good at that, being pessimists of the moment.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. There's the number of assholes we have to deal with isn't going to decrease quickly.
No.
But 100 years from now, actually, the 16-year-old I referred to, who, when Hillary was running for president, I think I told you this once, that I said to her, when I was your age, we never thought a woman could run for president. We never thought we'd have a black president.
Nope.
And she literally looked me in the eyes and said, the president's always been black. Because in her lifetime, it had only been Obama she'd been aware of. So to her, actually, and to her, there was no big deal that Hillary ran.
Right.
And actually, she saw the Barbie movie and said, yeah, I don't care about that message at the end because, women are equal, right? She was like in her worldview, we're further along than you and I think we are.
Sure.
And she will learn, if she ever leaves Los Angeles, that not everything is like it is here.
Oh, there's a cliff.
If you go to school, I'm trying to talk her to go out of state for college. Probably an argument I'll lose.
Yeah. So nice here. Why would you leave?
Because learn new things, I don't know. I have pom-poms in the closet that I shake and go to school in Boston. Go to school in Boston. Like it's, I think it's just an amazing place for college.
It's for college, yeah. It's a great education without question. I just question the culture of the city at times, It
is a very old school divided city.
And it's going to stay that way.
Oh, yeah. That was the first city when I visited a friend going to Tufts Dental School there, that was the first time I got to see white guys pretending to be tough.
That's funny.
I was in Boston, and we're walking along the street, and the car slides in the snow and almost whatever. It was too close for this Irish guy who was with us. And he shouted, "Hoo!" And then another guy, and they were got face to face, and they're yelling at each other face to face. And I'm like, you guys would get your asses kicked so fast in LA.
Oh yeah.
You can't walk around yelling in people's faces. Mm-mm. But these two untough guys could just act like they were, bodybuilding. I don't know. I got a little glimpse into that culture.
Yeah. A lot of yapping in the,
a lot of yapping.
Yeah, a lot of yapping.
Yeah. Like that little dog in the cartoon that jumps up and down.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, did I take us on the wrong tangent?
No, I just was thinking about the little dog jumping up and down in the cartoon and correlating that with the male ego of Bostonians.
Of a white Irish Bostonian who's pretty sure, I could have put me in the ring with that Tyson guy. I got some moves.
Exactly. Smash cut, he's being carted off in a body bag.
If only.
Exactly.
If only he could test himself.
Yeah, he's not going to do that.
How long are you going to be out here?
Till the 8th.
Till the 8th?
Yes. So
all of AFM, you and your partner will be hitting AFM.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be kicking ass and taking names.
Absolutely. So it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And we should get together for dinner before I leave or something like that, too. That might be fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We can have our off-the-record conversation.
We can. The funny thing is there anything I wouldn't say? Well,
no, there isn't.
Pretty much not. No. I know. Except, I don't know. I don't talk too much shit in real life. I just curse more.
That's funny. That's actually funny.
Although I don't really limit the cursing here.
No, you don't. You're pretty, colorful.
American motherfuckers.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. That's a thing.
Yesterday, I was at a friend's... Well, no, I'll tell you that one when we're off the mics.
Fair enough.
You feel good?
I feel great. This is awesome. It's always awesome.
We're at an hour 20. I don't know if we should...
we should wrap it up.
We should wrap it up.
We should.
Should I... anything you want to... I mean, at this point, if people don't know, it's going to have all the clickable links for all your usual...
And the new link is the Jones Foundation.
Yeah, I typed that one down. JonesFoundation.org.
Yeah, Jones-Foundation.org.
Jones hyphen.
Hyphen.
Like a dash, right?
A dash. Yeah, Jones-Foundation.org.
Good. That'll be a clickable link.
Yes, it will. I love it. I'm excited about it. And what it is doing is helping to, supplement, continuing to make social justice stories relevant, and to also mentor and educate those that are interested in creating those types of stories themselves. There are a lot of young people out there that want to be filmmakers, and I think that it's really important that they learn how to be filmmakers. You can't just pick up a sword and run into a fight. You'll get killed. You've got to know how to fight. And so I really want to develop and start a program to teach them how to be great filmmakers in order to tell great stories.
That's the way to get it done. You're marching ahead, but you're forming troops behind you.
Yeah,
right. So that the next generation there will be hopefully a dozen Fredericks.
Right. I may not get there with you, but I've been to the mountaintop.
Well, hopefully you'll be sipping.
I will be
a nice iced tea and going. Look at those 17 kids I got lunch. Look at what they're doing.
Look at what they're doing, and that's the guy I want to be. That's the old guy that I want to be. That's the old guy that I want to be, and I want those kids to be from all different backgrounds as well. So I think that's important too. The future is all of us, and all of this divisiveness needs to go.
The American experiment of a multicultural society.
It can win.
It can work.
It can work. Yeah.
It can work. I mean, it does work
It does
where
work.
it does.
It does. Works in pockets.
And where it's not working, it's just not working because old traditions are in the way. But those burn down.
They do. They're going away. They're slowly, dissolving away. There's just a lot of people that live in those spaces that are in denial, and denial is a hell of a drug. But so's fentanyl.
It is. Well, I'm not going to try it anytime soon.
No, we need you here with us.
That's true. It's kind of dangerous, but
It is. Just ask any number of celebrities. It is. No one wins against fentanyl.
I guess not. Damn.
No, it'll get anybody.
A guy I know wrote a wonderful novel, actually, about a drug addict. Hopefully he has sold that book by now, but it's a great book. I can't pull the title off my name, but Someone is a Dick is the name of the title. It used to be another. Sand something is a dick. But he's actually trying to score some fet because like all the other drugs aren't strong enough for him anymore.
See, that's a nightmare. That is just
It's written by a recovered drug addict.
Yeah. Right. And I think that directly correlates with hate. That's why we have a Trump, because people are just looking for a more hateful person to attach themselves through. Hate, hate's a drug. There's no question about it. There's a high that you get from oppressing people because it makes you feel better than you really are. I think it fires the same synapses in your brain as taking fentanyl.
And you and I, because we're so awesome, we even recognize the people we agree with on a lot of things. Sometimes they're hate-filled and they're too closed to...
Same thing, yeah.
And you're like, well, wait a minute. You are actually... I agree with you, but what you're saying is fucked up.
Exactly. You're going about it all wrong.
Yeah.
You get an F for style points.
Style and not seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So glad we didn't bring up Israel. Anyway,
we did it. We did it.
We are just.
I walked into this conversation living in fear. I was
of us bringing that up.
Oh, of course I did. I woke up in the middle of the night last night.
I can't even deal with it. I personally can't deal. Oddly enough, although I will share that if people Google Israel Red Cross and Gaza Strip Red Cross, there are you can donate to help people, human beings who've been injured.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot more useful than putting a flag on your Facebook profile.
Yes.
Very judgy.
Listen to you. Man, you just said what I've been thinking for the past several weeks. Yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't know. I think that is in poor taste. I really, really do. But people got to do what they got to do. But like you said, there are opportunities for us to contribute to those that have been injured in this conflict. And those people are the number ones. Those people matter. These other like yahoos on both sides that are given the marching orders that aren't out there on the front lines, that will not take a bullet, don't care. And
there's still a Russian army in Ukraine killing innocent people.
Absolutely. And a Russian leader that might already be dead, as far as we know.
And a political party in the United States that seems to take support for democracy as a bargaining chip.
Always. They've always done that. That's
I guess
been
so,
from
yeah.
The
it's just in such poor taste.
Exactly.
Oh,
3/5 of a person? Are you kidding me? Get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
All of Frederick's clickable links will be clickable in the show notes. I'm not going to go on my closing spiel. I don't need to. The show notes will actually have links to shit I do, including TVHi, which I am putting my hands together and praying to several different deities that will be the success that allows me to be an even more.
I want it to be, and one of the new shows is going to be American Motherfuckers, and we are delivering season 2 of Hot Girls Getting High to you as well. We are working on it as we speak.
Nice.
You will be very excited about that as well. And one of the other wonderful things is many of the ladies of Hot Girls Getting High have elevated their careers as well. So there is a lot more tributaries feeding into this.
Wonderful.
Too. So
Wonderful.
It's a good thing all the way around. But American Motherfuckers, we got to do it.
Got to do it. All right, everybody. Frederick Taylor, one of the returning champion and the world's best podcast or guest in general, the world's best. I'll just make a T-shirt for you that says "World's Best."
There you go. You know, all a part of.
And when people go, "What?" and just shrug and go, "Just the best."
There you go. See,
Just the best. I'm just the best. No arguments.
You will get nothing from me.
And if you're listening to this, like and subscribe. Ooh, I said it. I don't even know what they're liking and subscribing to, I guess.
They know what they're liking and subscribing to.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.